Good afternoon and welcome to Updates with Superintendent Skretta. Normally we do this show live, but we are pre-recording due to some scheduling conflicts, and so it's going to run at its regularly scheduled time. This is a video series, gives us an opportunity to sit down with Interim Superintendent John Skretta and talk about some timely topics at Lincoln Public Schools. Welcome.
Thank you. Great to be with you, Mindy.
And so during Tuesday's board meeting, you and the Associate Superintendents gave an update on the strategic plan. Could you please review for us what those three priorities are as part of the goals?
Sure. So our strategic plan actually covers four different quadrant areas, and our board goals and superintendent priorities identified for the year include: number one is to really basically develop a comprehensive action plan for the strategic plan. The second goal is focused around elevating our voice of advocacy by collaborating with others around, but not limited to, legislative matters. And we're doing some of that work now at both the state level in the unicameral and also at the federal level in Washington, D.C. And then the third area is really about recruitment and retention, specifically leveraging a comprehensive staff wellness program as a tool for supporting employee recruitment and retention.
And so we're really focusing right now on that first priority. The presentation that you gave to the board, you and the associate superintendents, was to give an update on the comprehensive strategic plan. We identified four initiatives. What are those four top initiatives or things that we're focused on through the strategic plan?
Yeah, so I'll name the four, but prior to describing that, I think it's important to acknowledge how robust and comprehensive the strategic plan is. It goes back to 2023 was when the board, under the superintendency of Dr. Gossman, worked together to initially craft and develop that strategic plan. And then it was actually finalized and adopted in 2024, spring of 2024. And then this current school year was our first opportunity to really implement action plans around that. Those four areas of the strategic plan are student and staff well-being and outcomes. Those are the first two. Family and community engagement, and district systems and operations.
And so you really did a deep dive during the board meeting on the family and community engagement, being that you were the associate superintendent for civic engagement. And so let's talk a little bit about family and community engagement. How do you define family and community engagement?
So when we think about family and community engagement, we're talking about both individual and collective action to address areas that are identified of community and district concern. So it's really broadly stated or holistically understood to be a wide array of possible partnership opportunities wherein we engage with the public to better support the Lincoln Public Schools students and staff.
So you and your team develop strategies around community and civic engagement and how we can interact with our community and families and get them involved and engaged. What are some of those strategies that were developed?
Sure. Well, one of the big ones that we're focused on is we understand that students who participate at the high school level in one or more officially school-affiliated activities have an incredible, it's a 98% plus on-time graduation rate. And yet, we could and want to see even higher levels of student participation and engagement in school activities. We understand that a part of that is earlier onboarding and engagement for those young people. So promoting school activities at the middle level to foster earlier school connectedness promotes increased activities participation, which we know will subsequently lead to even better student outcomes. So an example of how we kind of action plan and work around that: we continue to work with our 8 high schools to get students involved and engaged in athletics and school-sponsored clubs and activities. One of the means by which we can achieve that is offering summer clinics. So summer clinics are offered for grades 3 through 12 at each of our 8 high schools. So that would be one example of an area where we're focused on, again, promoting school activities and increased participation at the middle level. A second area that I would mention would be to capitalize on existing partnership efforts. We already have some incredible community and family engagement structures in place. And I would reference specifically that our Title I schools each have an annually formed parent compact that is attained through partnership between the principal and parents. And then each of our community learning centers, and by the way, Lincoln, Nebraska's community learning centers, 29 and growing, are nationally recognized and were celebrated in Washington, D.C. by the U.S. Department of Education in the summer of 2024 with the first ever recognition called Engage Every Student. So when we think about family and community engagement and the commitments that our community learning centers offer, it's pretty awesome. And those CLCs, each one has a SNAC, which is an acronym that stands for School Neighborhood Advisory Council, that really helps to engage community partners supportively to assist programming for those CLCs to expand out of school learning opportunities for our students. So that would be a second area broadly, is just capitalizing on existing efforts, leveraging existing capacity. A third area is to really focus on aligning district communications and community partnerships. And we have a myriad array of effective, beneficial community partnerships. One of those that I would like to highlight is SSKI, or the Safe and Successful Kids Interlocal, and this helps to provide supportive programming in collaboration through that interlocal with the City of Lincoln and Lincoln Public Schools. And that structure is a governing board that consists of the mayor of the City of Lincoln, 2 city council members, and 3 Lincoln Public Schools board members. So we see a great example of community partnership there that's really impressive. In addition, we partner with organizations like Community Health Endowment and the Lincoln Community Foundation in order to support out-of-school opportunities for physical activity, play, recreation, all just enhancing quality of life within the City of Lincoln and offering additional supportive measures for our young people, the students of the Lincoln Public Schools.
We really do have great community partnerships, and so I feel like this strategy really helps make sure that we are aligning with the community partners in the effort to meet our mission of supporting all students to meet their goals.
Yeah, agreed 100%. I would be remiss if I did not point out that each of our community learning centers also is really sponsored by, overseen, and administered by a community lead agency that's a nonprofit. So those include Family Service of Lincoln, the YMCA, and others. And so really great examples there of how we effectively, supportively offer reciprocal partnerships to help our students succeed. So the fourth strategy that I would reference is a focus around deliberate engagement with our communities of diversity. And one of the areas I wanted to highlight within that as an action step that we've been really purposeful about is our equity leadership cadre, and that's a means of developing and supporting diverse student leadership and enhancing those young people's leadership skills through the efforts of Pete Ferguson and our Department of Multicultural Education. There's amazing opportunities for those students to come together on a recurring basis throughout the year, learn from and with one another, and enhance their leadership skills. And just yesterday, it was 2 days ago now, the Greater Than One District event was held and brought together, I think we had almost 100 students visiting from 5 other districts, including the Omaha Public Schools and West Side, all collaborating together and participating in leadership workshops here at the SJDLC, the Steve Joel District Leadership Center, in the boardroom and in our conference or training rooms down in the basement. So really awesome just to see that and be a part of it. That's clearly not all. There's so much more. I also wanted to just highlight and celebrate the annual, in conjunction with Black History Month, the annual African American Reading Event, because our library services team collaborates with City of Lincoln Libraries and hosts this event. And it's just such an amazing opportunity for the Lincoln community to come together, share personal stories and experiences around Black history and African American heritage and culture.
And it's such a great event every year that they put on and organized by our multicultural education department and our library department along with the city of Lincoln. And we have guests that come in from across the community to read and share. It's an inspiring event.
It was just such a special recognition, I think, of the partnership that exists between the city of Lincoln, our citizens and constituents throughout Lincoln, and the Lincoln Public Schools.
So you gave this highlight. It's a brief overview of what you talked about at the board meeting. What are the next steps after this? How do we move forward with the strategic plan?
So one of the things I think it's really important to acknowledge is that the strategic plan is very comprehensive, and we need to think about it longitudinally. We need to think about attainment of those goals over time because it covers such a broad range of areas. And some of which we've really just kind of focused on family and community engagement in our conversation here today. However, it's much more expansive than that. So the way that I've been thinking about it and the way that we want to frame our discussions about where we're at with the strategic plan is to understand that we're just at a milepost along the way, not the destination. The destination is still ahead. We have a lot of work to do. So this spring, it's an opportunity to reflect on how has the first year of formal implementation of our strategic plan gone. And then we're in the midst of collecting data as well. So for instance, the annual district perception survey for staff, certificated staff, and parents is open. And that window is open through April 15th, if I recall correctly. And it's a means by which we solicit the input and perceptions of our parents and staff. And that's an example of collecting data, which we will subsequently review, reflect upon, and reinforce how we can continue to improve and do even better in family and community engagement as a district. So as we approach the end of the school year, and we've still got several weeks to go and important learning opportunities ahead, we will then subsequently reflect on the data we gather. That will include student achievement data, it will include attendance data, it will include student discipline data. All those things are inputs that we will take a careful look at. So for example, the PAR behavior framework, we will have a presentation at, I believe it's the April 22nd board meeting coming up. So more opportunities ahead for us to learn about and reflect on how we're performing as a district with the goal of consistently and continuously improving so that we can support students attaining even better outcomes in the Lincoln Public Schools.
Yeah, you just teased what I was going to say next, which was our behavior framework is that presentation is another way that we're showcasing all of the data and the reviewing that takes place throughout the school year as we work through these goals.
Yeah, that'll be a very important report, and looking forward to hearing Dr. Gelati and his team share out on that.
Wonderful. Okay, before we wrap up, I just have to ask, this is your first graduation ceremony with Lincoln Public Schools, not your first graduation ceremony as a superintendent,
No.
but with Lincoln Public Schools. What do you most look forward to as we have that whole weekend of graduation ceremonies?
Just the incredible energy and enthusiasm of celebrating a momentous occasion. High school graduation is such an important and empowering event because it is our opportunity as a district to formally recognize the attainment of that diploma and successful graduation from high school. It's a chance to recognize and reinforce the importance of families supporting their young people in getting that outcome. And then that's a ticket. That's a ticket to the playing field to get out there and prosper after high school, both in post-secondary education and in the workforce. So I just, I love the celebrations around graduation weekend.
It is one of the best weekends for all of us, I think.
Definitely.
So, all right. Well, thank you, Dr. Skretta, for that information today. And our next LPS update will be after the next board meeting on Wednesday, April 23rd. We'll see you then.
Thank you, Mindy.
Thank you.